back again. Why are you here already? Why are you making another video in the same day? Because I have something really important to talk about, and I want to talk about it now and get out of my system before I lose my nerve. And yes, Athena is throwing a huge fit right now. Say hi, Athena! Yeah, see, now she sees herself and she's like 15 different types of happy. Hi! Hi, let's go this way, so that way there's less of a mess. Yeah, I know, why haven't you cleaned your room? I'm still trying to get things together for packing and moving, and it's going to take me a lot of time. But what's this really important thing that you need to talk about? Well, it's called trichotillomania. It's a compulsive urge to pull out your hair. To the point where it's very noticeable. There's noticeable hair loss. Hat. My daughter's happy. And the reason why it's so very important to me to talk about is because it's something that I have had for a good portion of my life. Back when I was really little, I'd say about 3-4 years old, I would have this really bad habit of playing with my eyelashes. And whenever I play, and you know, it would really bug my mom and whoever saw me at the time. So they would always say, stop doing that. Well, I really couldn't help it. I didn't pull them out at that time, but it just wasn't something that I could control as easily as what they thought I could. So eventually, let's skip ahead 10 years. I still had this urge to play with my eyelashes, but it was getting worse. I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby. I know, stop. Take this seriously. Where am I going with this? It's something that, you know, I still had this urge to play with my eyelashes, but it was getting worse. So I had this, I don't know what came across my mind to do this, but I had this urge to just pull them out. But I didn't want to pull them out. They felt too long, they felt like they were in my way. So instead of pulling them out, I took a scissor and I cut my eyelashes. I trimmed my eyelashes. But as they grew back, they felt really, really itchy, and that's when the pulling began, because they felt so itchy that I just pulled them out instead. And that's really what is my trigger. That itchy feeling of my hair coming in is what makes me pull out. Now, for me, it's my eyes and my eyebrows and some other parts of my body that I'm not going to mention. Mind your business. For other people, it's their hair on their head. I don't get that urge so much, but I do sometimes, and when I do, I just go like this constantly until I feel better. I'm very, very aware of the hair on my head. It's kind of my pride, because it's what makes me feel beautiful. If I ever went bald, I don't know what I'd do with myself. I don't. It's the only part of me that makes me feel pretty. And I'm sure, like, people that don't have hair on their head but do have their eyelashes, I'm sure that some of them feel that kind of pride too. Like, they love their eyelashes and they take good care of them because it's normal. It's a part of them that's normal, that makes them feel normal. I draw my eyebrows. That's why I get lots of compliments on how good they look, but I'm like, thank you. I draw them on. I don't have any, but thanks, I think. C'est la vie. I say that a lot. C'est la vie. Such is life. What are you gonna do? Let's see if I can get more trick facts for you. I'm on Wikipedia right now, so I'm going to read this almost word for word. Trichotillomania is very common in infants. My daughter went through a phase where she would pull at her hair, but she wouldn't actually pull it out. But she went through that phase. But infants grow out of it by the time they reach toddler age. For adults, it's much more severe. It's triggered by depression or stress. Due to social implications, the disorder is often unreported. People out there who are watching, if you have trichotillomania, this is something that we need to fix. This is something that we need research on, and if nothing, and do studies on. Do not be ashamed of it. It's much more common than what you think, and it's something that we need to build awareness of. For example, my teachers throughout elementary school through high school, whenever I was doing my thing, whenever I was picking at my eyes and whenever I was picking at my eyebrows or playing with my hair, they would get so annoyed because they thought that I just didn't want to pay attention in class. That was not the case at all. I just had this compulsive urge that I could not ignore. It was easier to stop breathing than it was to stop this urge. So, 4th grade, Mrs. Lewis, if you're out there and you're watching this, remember that time you yelled at me for playing with my hair? This is why. Let's see, common areas for hair to be pulled out are the scalp, eyelashes, eyebrows, arms, hands, and pubic hairs. Let's see. Many people with trichotillomania, let's call it trich for short, have an increasing sensation of tension before pulling the hair and gratification or relief when pulling the hair. This is something I experienced. You may not, but lots do. And it lies in the obsessive-compulsive spectrum. My therapist, back when I saw him, hi Jason, said that fell more under the obsessive-impulsive disorder category. Kind of like biting your nails. Yeah. If you bite your nails to the point where they are bleeding, chances are you have an OID. It's more common in females than males. This is something that's important. Trichotillomania is not a focused act, but rather pulling occurs in a trance-like state. I get that urge to pull, I'm aware of it, and then once I actually start pulling, that's when I go into a trance mode where when I stop, I feel like I woke up from a nap. Except I don't feel rested and relaxed. I'm just kind of like, damn it, I was doing it again. But another reason why I think we need to build awareness of this is because a lot of, I know, right now you're probably looking at my eyes and being like, does she have eyelashes? She doesn't have eyelashes. No, I don't. Look. Big reason why I think we need to build awareness of this is because growing up, you want to be normal. You want to look like everyone else. You want to sound like everyone else. You want to dress like everyone else. There is this time where you'd have to accept who you are. And it goes so much further than likes, dislikes, personality traits. It's your habits as well. This habit of pulling out my hair has made me feel less normal. It's made me feel less beautiful. Both inside and out. And it's something that I want to get over. I get told every day that I have really pretty eyes, or I'm such a beautiful woman, girl, whatever. But I have never felt it. I've always felt that I was not enough. I was too skinny. I was too fat. I was more too fat than too skinny. And whenever someone commented on how pretty my eyes were, I was just kind of like, you do realize I have no eyelashes, right? This doesn't make sense to me. Well, what, I mean, I guess where I'm going with this is that you shouldn't have to feel less beautiful because you have something like trich. Beauty is, they say that beauty is skin deep. Inner beauty is more important than outer beauty. That's bullshit. Outer beauty is just as important. But it's not how others see you. It's how you see yourself. If you see yourself as beautiful, others will see you as beautiful. Look at yourself in the mirror, really. So you're bald. Make it work. You know you can make it work. So you don't have eyelashes. Make it work for you. So what if your skin is slightly tinted green, or you have this freakishly lit thing, or your nose is all kinds of twisted around, or you have this hideous scar? Find a way to make it work for you. Find your way to... Makeup is a wonderful thing. I don't really like wearing it. I only wear enough to put on eyebrows these days. I'm trying to not wear makeup. I'm trying to accept myself for who I am and feel beautiful and just do the bare minimum to make me feel awesome. To make me feel like I'm hot, I'm sexy. If you can turn yourself on, who gives a fuck if you can turn on anyone else? I know, I have a stutter, sorry. Who gives a fuck if you turn on anyone else, as long as you can turn yourself on? If you can turn yourself on, you can. Chances are there's someone else out there that you can turn on to. I'm sure you have other things that will make you feel just as hot. If you write. If you sing. If you have this, if the rest of your body feels sexy to you, model, do something, put it to good use. Me, I'm vlogging. This is something that I've always felt way too embarrassed to do, but here I am doing it. Maybe one day I can help someone with this problem and they will say, hey, thanks, you made me feel a bit better about myself. I have to wrap this up because I have to get ready for work now. But please, comment below, message me, and let's talk. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about our experience with this, our experiences growing up, our experiences as adults, as children with this issue. and what we have, and talk about what we have done to kind of move forward from this, to move on, to accept ourselves, to accept it as a part of who we are, and that despite it, we are just as beautiful, and in some ways, maybe you are even more so beautiful than other people in the world, both inside and out. And with this, I bid you good day.